Okay, so good evening, everyone. Today we are going to start with a brief account of evolution. But before doing that, let's revise the yesterday's class. Okay, so in a yesterday class, we have done the different theories of biological evolution, in which we have basically paid attention on the three theories. One is Lamarckian theory, another is after that, we have also discussed the Hardy-Weinberg principle, which is talking about, or who was talking about, the stability of the large population. So before starting with a new topic, let's have a poll, a technical poll, through which you can tell me, am I audible and visible to you or not? Please give your response through this poll. Okay, great. Then now we are moving towards our first question. So our first question is the given bone and the forelimbs of the three mammals shown in this figure. We can see the three different limb structures of the mammals. Now, for these mammals, the number, position, and the same shape of bone must likely indicate that they may have, as you can see, the number of bones, right, are completely same. The position of bones or attachment of one bone with another is also same. So we can predict that these three mammals are coming from, you can give your answer through this poll, that these mammals or these limbs of mammals are good example of, or they are indicating A, they developed from a, or they developed in a common environment, they developed from the same earlier species, C, identical genetic makeup, and D is the identical method of obtaining food, right? Here we can see, here we have the different structure, right? The structure is different, but the function is same. Or we can say the function is different, but the structure is same. What you can say about this? We can say that these are the same structures which are performing the different functions, always shows our ancestor, right? So here we have the answer, that is, so here our answer, correct answer to the question is that these organisms are developed from the same earlier species. Okay, next we are moving to the another question. The question says the diversity within the wild bird species in the diagram below can best be explained by which process? Okay, and from this common ancestor we have different varieties of bird. Okay, so this kind of explanation through this figure give which concept. A is your natural selection, B ecological suspension, C adaptive radiation, and D both A and C. So अगर हर किसी को, if you remember the voyage of the Darwin and about the Darwin finches, we can say that the formation of different types of bird, as you can see here, each and every bird has a different type of eye and a beak. So we can say this is a good example of the adaptive radiation. Okay, so the arising of an organism from a common ancestor is your divergent evolution. Okay, and divergent evolution is always a good example of adaptive radiation. Okay, next we are going to start with our today's topic, that is the account of evolution. Here we are going to talk about the different eras which are involved in an evolution or different eras of our evolution. And these eras are Proterozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Up now, these terms are very difficult, and their chronicle reorder or their sync is very difficult to remember. So for that, we have a press the pale button to message the center. Okay, this is the mnemonic, a shortcut to remember the actual sequence of these eras. Press the pale button to message the center. Press, that is PRE from the press, representing your Proterozoic era. Then pair, then we have the message. So the message of the message is representing Mesozoic era, and the scent of the center is representing our Cenozoic era. Okay, so to understand the sequence of these, to understand the sequence of these eras and to learn them, we have to learn only a simple sentence, that is press the pale button to message the center. Okay, so we have total 4 eras: Proterozoic era, Paleozoic era, Mesozoic era, and Cenozoic era. Okay, now moving towards the detail of these 4 eras. First, we have Proterozoic era. This Proterozoic era lasted from 2500 to 541 million years ago. Okay, this era ranges or existed between 2500 to 541 million years ago. And we have found that the first cellular form of the life, yes, the first cellular form of the life appeared in this era only, which is around 2000 million years ago. Okay, so first life form which appeared in this era, okay, around 2000 million years ago. Now, here some of the cells which are formed have the capability to release oxygen. Okay, that means in this we are talking about our primitive bacteria. You know, the primitive bacteria are the one which are formed as a light reaction in photo or chemosynthetic bacteria. So single cell organism become multicellular organism as the time goes on and multiplying and making their body complex so that they become a multicellular organism. So okay, so the main point to be remembered, Proterozoic era, that is 2000 million years ago. Next we have the Paleozoic era. This Paleozoic era itself contains the 6 different periods, and the range of this Paleozoic era is from 540 million years to the 252 million years. Okay, so the Paleozoic era range exists between the 540 to 252 million years. Okay, there are 6 periods in this era: Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian. Now we have to memorize this. Okay, we also have to learn the sequence of these eras. The first one was Cambrian. For that, again we have another mnemonic, that is camels often sit down carefully, perhaps their joints cracks. Okay, so the mnemonics for these sequence of periods, 6 periods, is camels often sit down carefully. Perhaps their joint crack. So let's go for this different. Let us camel. The cam of the camel is representing our Cambrian period. Okay, then often O of this often representing our Ordovician period. Then the sit, C of the sit is representing the Silurian period. Down of the D of the down representing Devonian period. And then we have the careful. The car of this careful is the Carboniferous period. Apart from that, we have the per from perhaps. So the perhaps, per or from the perhaps stands for the Permian period. Apart from that, there are 3 more periods which existing in the Cenozoic era, and those were, we'll discuss about them later. Okay, we need to just remember these 6 periods: Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, and Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian period. So the first period of that Paleozoic era was the Cambrian period. Okay, and the last period was the crack. The crack of the cry representing the Cretaceous, okay, which is around 252 million year ago. Okay, now we are moving to our next era, or the Paleozoic era. We are going to talk about its detail. This Paleozoic era is the era of the invertebrates. Okay, through around 500 million years ago, the invertebrates were formed. Okay, and around 450 million years ago, the first land organism, that is plants, appeared. Okay, so we can say Paleozoic era is the era in which the invertebrates are formed. So we can say the invertebrates formed earlier than the plants. So plants appeared only 450 million years ago. Okay, apart from that, if we go through this periods, the Ordovician period is for the invertebrates. Okay, this Ordovician period is the age of invertebrate. The Devonian period is the age of fishes. Okay, it is the age of fishes, and here the abundance of tree fern. We found the abundance of tree ferns. Then in Carboniferous period, we got our first seed plant. Okay, the first seed plant appeared in Carniferous period. And this Permian period is the age, or it shows the origin of conifers. Okay, so let's move to the next step. As I said, 500 million years ago, invertebrates were formed. 540 million years ago, the first land organism, that is plants, appeared. And on the same period, just after 50 million years after, the arthropods invaded the land. That means the first time when insects appear on the land. Then 50 million years ago, the first jawless fish was evolved, and that was lobfin. Okay, lobfin could move on land but go back to water. Okay, this is the feature of amphibian who can survive on land and water. So they evolved to first amphibian. We can say the lobfin was the ancestor of modern day frogs and salamander. Okay, the lobfin. Then in 1938, a lobfin called Calocanth fish was caught from the South Africa. Okay, In 1938, we got the fossil of Paleozoic era. That is of our first amphibian. That is the dolphin. And the name of that dolphin was the Kelakan fish, which was caught in South Africa. And now from 252 million years ago to 66 million years ago in 200 million years ago. Okay, just before 200 million ago, some land reptiles went back to the water. Now reptiles do no more want to stay on land. They went back to water, and they lead to the evolution of the fish like reptiles. So we can say the fishes arises from the reptile. The fish evolved from the reptile. Okay, so the example of that fish-like reptile was ichthyosaurs. Okay, example is ichthyosaurs. Next, the land reptiles were dinosaurs at that time, and we have several kind of dinosaur: Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops and Stegosaurus, and then Brachiosaurus. So there were several dinosaurs found on the land. Now, moving to our last era, that is the Cenozoic era, which is lasting from the 66 million ago to present. That means we are living. So the current era is our Cenozoic era. We are living in a Cenozoic era. So this era is also known as the age of mammals and angiosperm. That means in this era only, the mammals and the flower-bearing flowers appeared. It is containing the two periods, tertiary period and quaternary period. Okay, so tertiary period was 66 million years ago, and the quaternary period is ranging from 22 million years ago to now. Okay, and it was found in South America. There were mammals resembling the horse, hippopotamus, bears, rabbits, etc. In South America, these horse, hippopotamus, and bear, rabbit resembling mammals were found. This shows that a continental drift has taken place. Okay, this shows that a continental drift has taken place, due to which the geographical condition changed, and those lead to the differentiation or evolution of those same species. Okay, we have studied the adaptive radiation, right? So it can be a good example of adaptive radiation. So this continental drift leads to the adaptive radiation. So when we joined the South America with the North America, these animals were all ridden by the North American fauna. Okay, so they were completely showing the common ancestors. Now we are moving towards the evolution of plants. So in evolution of plants, firstly we have to learn the sync of this, how they are can be learned. So to learn them, we have another mnemonics, that is fight, Nia, fight. Okay, the fight is for this fighter. Okay, so the first fight is chlorophyte. The second fight is tracheophyte. And the third fight is, or third is not a fight, third is Nia. So that is Rhinia. Okay, then we have last the Coelophyte. Okay, so to memorize the evolution of plants, we have to learn the mnemonics: fight, Nia, fight. That is chlorophyte, tracheophyte, rhinia, and Coelophyte. Now, As you can see from each and every this section, some new types of plants have appeared. Okay, so if we go for the chlorophyte, chlorophyte leads to the evolution of tracheophyte, but along with that it has lead to the formation of bryophytes. Okay, so from you can see the chlorophyte giving rise to two branches. One is moving towards the tracheophyte, another is moving towards the bryophyte. Okay, then from the tracheophyte we have again two branches. One is moving towards the lycopods and another is moving towards the rhinium. Okay, so uh, uh, let's memorize these lycopod sequence by mnemonics, that is pizza. Yeah, I am adding extra H to the spelling of pizza, in which Z-A-H. You have to remember this Z-A-H. Z is your first, that is zoosterophyllum. Then these zoosterophyllum further evolved into arborescent. And then we got the herbaceous lycopods. Okay. So we, in the evolution of plant, we have seen till now the two mnemonics, one for the major evolution, major classification, that is phytophyte, neophyte for chlorophyte, tracheophyte, rhinia, and coelophyton. Then further evolution of this tracheophyte into the three different organisms in different eras, that is zoosterophyllum, arborescent lycopods, and herbaceous lycopod, for which we have the pizza. Then, if you can see, the last is the evolution of rhinia leads to the formation of xylophyton. And from this xylophyton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different branches are arising. Okay, so first we are going to study these 5, the order of these 5 species. So for this is the singer. Okay, let me change the color of ink, otherwise it is all looking the same. Okay, so moving towards the singer Fred got great chord. Okay, so our mnemonics is singer Fred got great chord. The singer, the S for singer stands for the Stephanopsis. Then F of Fred represents the ferns. G from gods, gincox. Another G, needles, and C for conifers. Okay, so our xylophyton giving rise to these 5 different species or 5 different organisms. Now, then we have the progymnosperm, which is leading to the formation of, which evolved into the seed ferns, and then further seed ferns evolved into the cycads, dicotyledons, and the dicotyledons having 2 types further, angiosperm, and then further is monocotyledons. Okay, now we are going to see the further evolution of the dinosaurs. So earlier reptiles were the ancestor, the main ancestor of a dinosaur, which leads to the 2 branches. One is making synapsids, another is making sauropsids. Okay, so in this sauropsid makes the turtle. Sauropsid leads to the making of turtle. Then further, this sauropsid get evolved into 3 different branches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this is 4. That is further lead to the formation of lizard, snake, tortoise, crocodile. Okay, then the synapsid evolved into paleosaurs, then thegodonts, then therapsids, and this therapsid leads to the formation of mammals. Okay, now we have a question that select the correct order of geological time scale of Earth. Now we have to arrange these eras in a correct order. So you can give your answer through this poll, which is the correct order of the eras. Option A says Paleozoic, Archaeozoic, Coinozoic, right? B says Archaeozoic, Paleozoic, and Proterozoic. C says Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. D says Mesozoic, Archaeozoic, and Proterozoic. So according to you, which one is the correct order? Okay, we have studied the press the pale button to message the center, right? Remember everyone, we have studied the press the pale button to message the center. So the order was, according to that, the order become C. So C is our correct answer. That is Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Coinozoic. PPMC. Okay, the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Coinozoic. Now we are moving towards the origin and evolution of the men. Okay, now we are moving towards the men. So when we are talking about the men, we have evolved from the apes. Okay, to memorize their order. We need to memorize their order. We again have a mnemonics, that is Dr. Ram went to Australia and got habituated to evolution and new Homo sapiens. Okay, this is the mnemonics. Dr. Ram went to Australia and got habituated to the evolution and new Homo sapiens. Here, the doctor, the DR of the doctor stands for the Dryopithecus. Okay, the first member in the evolution of men, that is Dryopithecus. Then Ram stands for Ramapithecus. Then they went to Australia. So when they went to Australia, we have Australopithecus. Then Hab stands for Homo habilis. E of evolution stands for Homo erectus. The new stands for the Homo neanderthaliensis. And the last one is us, that is Homo sapiens. Okay, so this is the mnemonic for all the evolved. Now let's first talk about the Dryopithecus. But before talking about these different evolved persons, let's talk about what is human evolution. Why we are studying human evolution? Why we need to study this human evolution, and what are the we can say the fields involved in this human study of human evolution. So we can say the human evolution is the evolutionary process leading up to the appearance of modern human. This shows how the modern human, that is us, are formed from our ancestors, right? That is Dryopithecus. Then The study of human evolution involves the many scientific disciplines such as the physical anthropology, primatology, genetics, archaeology, linguistics, and embryology. काफी भारी भारी नाम हो गए ना. Yes, we have the different fields involved in this human evolution, the study of human evolution. So what were those? Anthropology, primatology, genetics, archaeology, linguistics, and embryology. Okay, now move to our Dryopithecus and Ramapithecus. So when we talk about first the Dryopithecus, we can say their length of is always equal. So in Dryopithecus, length of arm and legs were same. Okay, and they appeared 15 million years ago, and they have a hairy body. Apart from that, they have the semi erect posture. That means they are unable to stand straight. They have a bent posture. Okay, they are unable to stand straight. They have a bent posture, and they are knuckle walkers. Okay, they are knuckle walkers. That means they are walking or by taking the support of these knuckles. Okay, and these Dryopithecus were also arboreal. That means they are staying on a trees. They always stays on a tree and eats soft leaves and fruit. Okay. Okay. So these Dryopithecus were the more ape-like, but they are the common ancestor. They are common ancestor for both man and ape. Okay. Next, we have the Ramapithecus. These Ramapithecus, the fossils which are found for the Ramapithecus shows contains only the fossils of, let's change the color to discuss the Ramapithecus. Okay. The fossils of Ramapithecus contain only the jaw and dentition. Okay. And this shows that the dentition shows they are the direct ancestor of men. They are direct ancestor of men, and they walk a little erect. As you can see, they are not walking on their hands. Okay, they are not using their forelimbs, they are just using their hind limbs. So from this bent structure, they just get slightly erect. So they walk on hind limbs. Yeah, and that means they become bipedal. Okay, they become bipedal. That is walking on their two hind limbs. Then their teeth have a hard cover. So they have also developed enamel. So they are able to eat the hard nuts and seeds. Okay, is this clear? First, we have talked about the Dryopithecus, which is appeared 15 million years ago, and they were the common ancestor for apes and man. And it was found their length of arms and legs were always same, and they cannot stand straight, so they have a semi-erect posture, and they always walk on knuckles, just like gorillas and chimpanzees. Okay, and they were arboreal. They stays on the tree, and they always eat the soft leaves and fruit. Whereas the Ramapithecus was found to be the direct ancestor of man, having a semi-erect posture. Okay, you can say the more erect posture, they are not walking on their forelimbs, they are using just their two hind limbs. So they become bipedal, and they have developed the enamel or the hard covering on their teeth. So they started eating the hard nuts and seeds. Okay, then these are the hobbies. These are the skulls of our ancestor, which was found 3 to 4 million years ago in the Eastern Africa. Okay, these fossils were found in the Eastern Africa, and they might be having a height of around 4 feet. Okay, they might be having a height of around 4 feet, and they always walk up right. That means they have a complete erect posture. If we go through these details, Pithecus. Okay, they up with this description, we can say we are talking about the Australopithecus, and the fossils of man-like bones were found in Ethiopia and Tanzania. So Australopithecus, they were found 200, or they survived 202 million years ago, and they were basically living in a East Africa, that is a grassland, and they were hunted with the stone weapons. So they have a talent to form the tools, and they also ate the fruit. Okay, then we are moving towards the Homo habilis. When we are talking about the Homo habilis, the handyman, they are also called the handyman because apart from walking, they are started using their hands for some another work. They are using their hands for non-locomotory actions, and they were first discovered by the Mary Leakey. Okay, the Homo habilis were first discovered by the Mary Leakey, and these people were expert for the tool making. They are expert of tool making. Okay, the brain capacity was 650 to 800 cc. That is cranial capacity. Cc stands for cranial capacity. Okay, as we got evolved, our cranial capacity also started increasing. Okay, then we have the Homo erectus. They appeared, or they survived 1.5 million years ago. So now you can see the difference between their cranial capacity. The habilis ones having the 650 to 800 cranial capacity, but these Homo erectus have the 900 cc. These are the first who started eating meat, and the three fossils were found here for the Homo erectus: the Java man, Peking man, and the Heidelberg man. These three fossils were found at three different places. Java man found in Indonesia, Peking man found in China, and Heidelberg man was found near Germany. Okay, and these are the people who have starting using fire first. As you can see here, they are the one who started using fire. यानी जो दो पत्थरों को रगड़ के काम करने वाला काम था, वो सिर्फ इन्होंने ही किया था. Okay, then we have Neanderthals. Okay, they are the primitive man. We can say they are the primitive men, and they were found in Neander Valley. They were found in Neander Valley, and they are slightly shorter than the modern people. Their body posture is slightly shorter. Okay, they appeared 1 lakh to 40,000 year ago. Now you can see there is a drastic change. Their brain capacity has evolved up to 1400 cc, and they were found to be lived in an East and Central Asia. And people, these Neanderthals are the cannibalistic in nature. That means they are eating their own kind of. Okay, so they eat their own kinds. Okay. Apart from that, they are the first who evolved the culture. They started burying the dead people, and they started burying these dead people with the flour. Okay, they always use the flour while burying the dead people, and they are the first who developed speech. Okay, so we can say these Neanderthal mans were the first who gave us the culture. Okay, they are the one who started speaking, they are the ones who started burying the dead animals, and they are also able to, they also get adapted to the cold environment. Okay, is it clear to everyone? So next is us, the Homo sapiens, right? The Homo sapiens evolved 75,000 to 10,000 years ago. That is the Ice Age, the age when the dinosaurs get extinct. ठीक है? तो dinosaurs गए और super dinosaurs आ गए. We can say. So prehistoric cave art developed around 18,000 year ago. So we can say we are the ones who have started painting, and the process of, or the method of agriculture and human settlement also started with us, that is around 10,000 years ago. Okay, so this is the sequence of the evolution of us human being, that is Dryopithecus to Ramapithecus, Ramapithecus to Australopithecus, then Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthaliensis, and then the Homo sapiens. Okay, for which we have used the mnemonics. Dr. Ram went to Australia, habitualized and habitualized to new evolution and become Homo sapien. Okay. So just let me write down again your mnemonics for this is Dr. Ram went to Australia and got habituated to evolution and new Homo sapiens. Right? So keep this mnemonic in mind and keep on memorizing this. Next, move to our last question. So you have to do, see, you can see the comparison of the skulls here. The low ones is the chimpanzee skull. The middle one is the skull of baby chimpanzee. And the first one is the skull of modern human being. So as you can see, the skull of baby chimpanzee is more like adult human being than the chimpanzee skull. So we can say chimpanzee can also be our ancestor. Okay. So now here we have a question. The diagram given below shows the skull of two different mammals. Here we have the skulls of two different mammals. Which of the following accurately describes the difference between their skulls? Out of the given option, which option is perfectly describing these skulls? Okay, so you can give your answer through this poll. Okay, so your options are: skull A has more teeth than skull B. Option B says skull A has more brain capacity than skull B. Option C says skull A is of man and skull B is of ape. Option D says skull A is an of ape and the skull B is of human. Okay, give your answer. Okay. So as we have just studied and as we have just compared the chimpanzee, which is an ape, which is the kind of ape, and the human, you can see the skull of chimpanzee is small and flat because their brain capacity is smaller as compared to us, whereas our skull is round. So according to that, our C option nullifies. Okay, according to that, our C option nullifies. Then option A says the skull A has more teeth than skull B. Okay, as you can see, there are same number of teeth here and there in skull A and skull B. The only difference is the size of teeth. So we cannot say the A has the more teeth. So option A also nullifies. Then option B says the skull A has more brain capacity as compared to B. If we look at the size of the skull, you can easily say, see, the size of circle is formed. The size of skull is larger. The size of skull is B is larger as compared to the A. So the size of skull B is larger. That means it is having the high cranial capacity. So according to that, option B also nullifies. So we are left with only option D, which says that skull A is an of ape, right? It is completely an ape skull. We are humans do not have such long pointed teeth, right? So skull A is of an ape, whereas the skull B is of human. Okay, is it clear to everyone? So you have to go through all these slides and please make sure to revise your NCRT line by line and complete your module. Okay, you have to do the module questions for the practice. Okay, so we'll meet in the next class with a new topic and a new chapter. Before leaving the class, please give your feedback through this NPS poll. Okay, thank you for your time. Meet you tomorrow with a new topic.